Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bundesliga show, brought to you by Over the Bar. Just checking in for the return of Bundesliga action. We're just going to be doing our prediction show, which is now the new, obviously the new place of our Thursday nights. Sorry for a little bit of overlap there. I think that's sorted out. So fantasy football show tomorrow morning. Tonight we're just going through predictions for match week 4 of the Bundesliga. It feels like the season's been going on for so long already, but we're only on game 4. So, some really interesting, exciting games that you can see on screen already. So as per the first version of this show, me and Mark will be taking it in turns to predict the weekend's outcomes, just as a bit of fun. So if you're watching live, join in, get involved, put in your predictions, and obviously if you're watching subsequently, whack them in the comments. It'll be really interesting to see what some of you think about the games this weekend. Mark, you're going to kick us off this evening, and you get to take on the stellar tie of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously game of the season so far, really, isn't it? Although Leverkusen Leipzig have probably pushed that as well. But this is a really exciting one. Obviously, both teams have complained about the fact that it's going to take place on a Friday evening, which I've got to say is quite poor on the back of an international break. You know, the likes of Palacios for Leverkusen traveling from South America in basically just 3 days, and they've got to try and play this game. So I think we will probably see certain players missing out. You know, maybe the likes of Alphonso Davies as well, who's obviously been over in North America. So yeah, I mean, the timing isn't good. For me, this should have been a Sunday game, really, to preserve the quality of this match. So I think we will see not weakened teams, but we might see 2 or 3 would-be starters bench for both teams potentially in this match. But it still should be an absolute classic. It's very hard to predict because for me, Leverkusen have been the better of the 2 teams. Both teams are obviously on 100% records so far. But I've just got a feeling that it's going to finish a high-scoring draw, this one. You know, I think obviously Leverkusen, they have a mixed record against Bayern Munich in recent years. They've had some good wins. Like they actually won the last meeting between the sides 2-1 at the back end of last season. But they've also had some batterings at the hands of Bayern as well in the not-too-distant past. But yeah, I'm actually going to go for a 2-2 draw. I think they will get a point from the game. And this is the kind of game that could go 3-2 either way. I think it will be entertaining. These games rarely let down in the Bundesliga. And I think it's going to be a great game regardless of some potential injuries or suspensions in this one.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you make a good point. Interesting read the schedules. But anyway, next game for me, I think, is a slightly easier one to pick through. Leipzig hitting their straps. Obviously, bad news over the international break. The news of Dani Olmo getting an injury. Hopefully, we don't see that taking him out of action for too long. Regardless of that, I see the home side being way too strong at the Red Bull Arena. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 result for Leipzig.
Yeah, then an interesting game for Dortmund away in Freiburg. Obviously, Freiburg is a place that they have struggled in the past, but they won there last season for the first time, I think, in 3 years. Freiburg, I don't know about them. They're a little bit funny because they won the first 2 games, but then they were really, really poor last time out of Stuttgart. And this is a game that Dortmund, it's a bigger game for Dortmund for me, this one. I think it's a game that Dortmund have to win after 2 poor draws, really, in the last couple of games in matches they should have been winning against Bochum and Heidenheim. And I just think they will get the win simply because they need to get the win so much. I mean, they'll obviously have been affected by a lot of players going off on international duty as well, the same as Bayern, Leipzig and Leverkusen. But I believe that they will just about nick a 2-1 away win. I think it might be a late goal, this one for the BVB.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Next game, Wolfsburg versus Union Berlin. Poses to be slightly trickier game to predict than the first one I had. Union obviously had a bit of a stumbling block just before the international break, but Wolfsburg are an odd one as well because I think I'd maybe back Wolfsburg to do better, but I think there might also be an injury concern over Jonas Wind now, which obviously he's been getting all their goals. So if that is the case and Wind misses out, then I'm definitely going to edge. I'll go for a 2-1 away win based on that kind of theory.
Yeah, and then an interesting game, Mainz Stuttgart. Obviously, two teams in totally opposing veins of form at the minute. Stuttgart, one of the teams of the season so far. They've been really, really good with the top scorer, Gurasi, already on 5 goals. Mainz, on the other side, are having a woeful time. Basically, they've had a really poor start to the season under Bo Svensson. I don't believe they'll even be in the relegation dogfight. I think they will get going eventually, and this is a game that they will believe that they can win still against Stuttgart. You know, Stuttgart are not good travellers in truth, and they don't win many games on the road. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this one. I think it would be a decent result for both teams.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. It'd be good for Stuttgart to keep on building on points. In that sense, yeah. As we scroll down, I've got the pleasure of now trying to predict Köln versus Hoffenheim. Yeah, tricky one. Now we can kind of see in the screen Hoffenheim hovering in 7th place, but obviously this is the table is updating as we go. Kind of feel like this one could also be a draw, but also I don't think Hoffenheim go to Köln and win. So I'm either saying 1-1, or do I back the home side to get themselves a tight win? Köln to get themselves a 2-1 home win, I think, Mark.
Ooh, interesting one there, yeah. Okay, obviously Köln struggling, but yeah, I can see them possibly nicking a home win. This is another really interesting game as well. Home stalwarts Bochum versus, I'm not going to say struggling because they do have 5 points on the board, but it's not looking that promising at the moment for Frankfurt, is it, at all? Because obviously they've lost Muani, they've lost Lindstrom. The squad looks significantly weaker really than it did this time last year. They've lost Ndika. And I think that despite the fact they have managed to kind of muster up 5 points, which is a decent return from the first 3 games, I don't think they've really played well in any of the 3 games, in truth. And I think they've been pretty lucky to get 5 points on the board. But this is another game that they'll believe that they can win. You know, the fixture list has been relatively kind to Frankfurt, but I just think that Bochum at home might just have enough in this one. I'm worried about where Frankfurt's goals are going to come from now because they've lost Lindstrom, they've lost Muani. And all of a sudden, they've gone from a side that looked like they had bags of goals. Obviously, they've lost Boré as well. Let's not forget that, who went on loan to Werder Bremen. So I actually think that Bochum are going to nick a 2-0 home win here. I just feel they can get their first win of the season here, Bochum. So I'm going 2-0 the home side.
Yeah, it could be a weekend of firsts, I reckon. For main, you're predicting Bochum to get going, and kind of feeling Heidenheim get over the line and get their first win as well. Werder have had a bit of a tough start as well. Obviously, we watched them the very first game of the season. They did a good job in that sense. So. Obviously, Werder destroyed Mainz before the break as well, didn't they? Okay, I've convinced myself out of it. I'm going for an entertaining 2-2 draw.
Yeah, it should be an entertaining game, that one. I'm quite looking forward to that match. I think I agree with you. There's definitely goals in it. Probably a lot of bad defending, but some quality attack as well, as we've seen from both of those sides so far this season. But yeah, two teams who are still winless as well. There seems to be quite a lot of teams still winless at the moment in the Bundesliga, don't there? I think there's still 6 or 7 teams that haven't won in the first 3 games, and these are 2 of them as well, Darmstadt and Gladbach. I think Gladbach have been pretty decent, to be honest, though. I didn't really tip them that highly, but they played well against Bayern, probably a little bit unlucky to lose that one late on. Had that really entertaining game against Augsburg, and, some of their new players are looking quite good. Darmstadt on the other side, I am worried about them, really. You're looking at comparisons with Luton Town over in England, and they just don't look good enough basically at the moment. But this is a home game. It's a chance to get on the board, but I still think that Gladbach at this moment should still have too much for Darmstadt. I'm going to go for a 3-1 away win here.
Yeah, very good. Lovely stuff. So that is all the games predicted for match week 4. So that will bring us to a nice close this evening. So yeah, looking forward to it. We'll be back tomorrow morning if you're watching live, or tonight for the fantasy football draft 2.0. So international break has meant that there was free transfers around the around the fantasy football app. So join myself and Marina at 8:30 in the morning for the latest episode of that. And Mark, you can draw this evening's prediction show to a close.
Yeah, so don't forget to check out our Twitter at @OverTheBarFB and at @OverTheBarExtra, and also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're making some good progress on the numbers. Also, check out our latest vlog as well. We're quite happy with the numbers so far, but it can still do a little bit better. So recommend it to your friends and family as well. So yeah, we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye, guys. Great.